Hunyuan 3D released a huge update a few days ago, and you can now generate better 3D AI models than ever before. I will show you in today's video how you can use Hunyuan 3D 2.5 to create highly detailed 3D AI models, create PBR textures for them, and how you can rig and animate your character inside of Hunyuan. In addition to that, I will show you as well the advanced texture generation and sketch feature. By the end of this video, you will be able to create a highly detailed 3D model from a 2D image and use it in the end in the 3D software of your choice. Having said that, let's dive right into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Philip from Pixel Artistry, and today I want to show you a huge update, as I mentioned already in the intro, because now we have Hunyuan 3D 2.5. And I honestly have to say it's a really great improvement to the last version, and I will show you in a second. But first I would like to show you how you can use Hunyuan 3D 2.5 in general and how to set it up and how to access it. It's unfortunately only available on their own website at the moment. They didn't release any weights yet for ComfyUI. In case they do that, I will let you know. They made statements about it that it could happen, but it's not entirely sure now, so I can't promise anything. But if they do it, then of course I will also do a tutorial for Hunyuan 3D 2.5. But for now we have to stick with their website, but which is still great. I will show you this in a second, how much you can generate and stuff like this. But you can use it for free, at least for 20 generations, which is great. One important thing I have to mention is that if you want to use it commercially, that's unfortunately not possible at the moment. I will also show you this here. So as you can see, obviously you just see it Chinese. So if you're not speaking Chinese, then probably it's hard to read. So I would suggest to just put that in ChatGPT or something. Unfortunately, Chrome doesn't translate it for some reason. I don't know why. But anyways, what it says in general is that it's not allowed to use it commercially. You have to get a license from Tencent and they have to allow it. So you have to reach out to them if you want to use it commercially. Otherwise, you can use it for your own projects and non-commercially, but just keep that in mind, please, and read the instructions here carefully, because otherwise you might get in trouble, and of course we don't want that. So just to mention that. So first of all, here's the website. It might be for you in Chinese, but then you can simply use the Google Translate here when you're using Chrome or in any other browser that you translate software that it's using. And then what we can do is go here to login, and then I will choose here mail. Then you will just put in your mail address, and then you have to click here on get verification code, and then it will send you automatically a verification code to your email, and then you can properly log in. All right, great. And once you have done that, we are then here on the main page from Hunyuan 3D. And as you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on. So here are some 3D models that other users already created. You can also filter them if you want. But the important main thing we want to tackle and have a look at is this page over here. So we have the Vincent 3D option and the Tushank 3D option. We will focus first on Tushank 3D, which is offering the single image generation and the multi-image generation, and then we will move on in the next step to the Vincent 3D, which is kind of the text generation, and which we will have a look at. Otherwise, we will first choose the Tushank 3D. So for this one, I used Midjourney, and in this case here I have a sci-fi soldier 3D character front view. I also took the side and back view, which I will show you in a second, but basically I'm using Midjourney version 7 here, which does a great job at generating those angles. You can of course also use, for example, ChatGPT or any other image generator that you would like to use. Once you have done that, we can then simply go here and click upload pictures. You can then choose your character, for example this one then that I just showed you. And then the most important thing is that you choose then here the model. And I can recommend to use mainly JPEG images instead of PNGs, because PNGs are hard to handle for Hunyuan, at least for the uploading phase. I mean, this is already taking a while, as you can see. It also depends, of course, on server capacity, but otherwise make sure to use JPEGs. And then the most important thing is here that when you select the model, that you choose here the version 2.5 instead of the version 0.2. So make sure to have that, and also make sure to generate PBR map and have that turned on. As you can see, it's recognizing the image now, which is great. And then what we can do is simply hit here, generate now. As you can see, one last thing is here, you have here the view of today's remaining generation times, which is 17 in my case. And you can also invite friends, and then we will get additional generation opportunities. So when you have done that, you can simply just hit generate now to just show you quickly how it's doing the processing part. It will then take around 7 minutes to produce the entire model, but it will be worth it for sure, I can tell you. So first it's creating the geometry, and then it will create the texture for us. All right, great. And once it's done generating the model, you will see something like this here. So this interface, sometimes if it doesn't show up, it's also always a good option to go here to the white model kind of, and then go back to the texture, and then you will see it most of the times. So please be patient, sometimes that happens, but most of the times it should optimally, of course, show it straight away. And as you can see, it's such a huge improvement already. I will also show you in comparison in a second, but actually, as you can see, detail-wise, this is such a great improvement to the last version. In case you have seen my latest videos about Hunyuan 3D 2.0, as you can see also when we go without the texturing in the base model now, we have a kind of high detail now. Of course, the edges seem to be quite sharp now in some cases, but I think it's always better to have more detail in the model than less. So I think this is great. As you can see as well, we have here an albedo texture now, which is also cool. So this is kind of the delighting image that we have. And we can also see here the normal view of the model itself, which just looks really great. To export it, if you want to do that, we also have now different download options that we can choose. So for example, here we have GLB, OBJ, FBX, and so on, and you can choose your desired resolution. What I figured out so far is if you want to have the PBR texturing, then you should download it in GLB. For some reason it was not shown in the FBX unfortunately at the moment, but for the GLB it will work for sure, which is great, and then you can directly download it. The next option that we can choose is to use the multiple image mode that we have over here. So we can upload here front, rear view, left view, and right view, and I can highly recommend to use this mode because it gave me so much even better results than the single view, which I will also show you in the comparison in the next step. But to do that, for example, I also used Midjourney for this one. So in my generation phase, I can show you here. What I used as a prompt is basically which I had here in the Sci-Fi Soldier 3D character, like I showed you, front, side, back view, and so on. And once I had this template here in Midjourney version 7, did a really great job on it and kept it consistent with all the angles. What I did then is that I went to the editor once I had this image, and then I simply cropped out here all the ones I need. You can also, of course, do that in Photoshop if you're not using Midjourney for this one. But like this, you can then crop them out, just hit here, submit edit. And then what it will do is that it then generate for us those different angles that we need. And once you have done that, we can then simply go here and then select here the front view, for example, go to upload pictures. Then we will choose this one, and we will do that with the other ones as well. And I did that already as a test before the video. So you will always find your generated assets, which is also pretty cool, here on the last page, which is called actually asset, which makes sense. And then you can choose here your model that you had. Also here it says multiple views, so we can just click on it, and then what you will see is then the result of what we have. And as you can see, this is then the generated result of the 3D multi-view that we have, and I think it's working just great on all angles. It even get us the backpack here because it then has this kind of information, which is cool. And as you can see also in the white mode, we have this really great detail. By the way, guys, in case you enjoyed this video so far, please make sure to subscribe to my channel to support me, and this would mean a lot to me so that I can keep doing what I'm doing and keep growing my channel. And as well, make sure to check out my free newsletter Future Frames, where I will share with you the latest 3D AI news and workflows so that you stay up to date in the 3D AI world. Having said that, as always, let's directly continue with the video. Alright, great. And now to show you an actual comparison. So if you want to view the textures also in Blender, only thing you need to do is go up over here and change to viewport shading. Otherwise, you can also, of course, press that here and then go to material preview. And I have it here open and prepared in Blender because, of course, here is the best place to refine your 3D model if you want to. Otherwise, as you can see, we have here the reference image that we have. And here I loaded all of those comparisons into Blender to show you the difference. So as you can see, we have here on the left side, we have our reference image that I took as an input. Then here we have the old model with the Hunyuan 3D 2.0. I prompted this with the mini turbo and used it. And as you can see, there is already such a huge difference in like shape and texture wise and everything. Also here it took in the ground kind of, or read it as a ground. So I also kept it here. I didn't want to delete it because I wanted to show you the raw result, what we got from it. And as you can see also in terms of proportions, for example, with the head and the arms and everything, it's working way better. And here we have then the 2.0 version. Here we have the 2.5. This is the single image. And also to show you here the comparison, this is the multi-view result that we have, and this is the single image. And as well, I think we see here also quite a difference in terms of texturing. Also here on the back, as you can see, because of course Hunyuan 3D in the single image doesn't know what it's on the back, so it didn't generate the backpack like it did with the multi-view. And also in terms of like details overall, I think it did a pretty decent job with the multi-view actually. As well, when we look at the base model with our textures, we also see that we have here more of this merged parts together in the geometry, and it's kind of way smoother, you know, and doesn't extract the model that well. And also here, as you can see, obviously it's doing such a great job regarding this one. In terms of topology, as you can see, this is still one of the main issues with Hunyuan 3D, that it doesn't have a retopology method. I think they will introduce it soon, but it could still take a while. So as you can see, it's very triangulated and high dense from the topology itself. If you want to change that, then you can of course use, for example, the quad remeasure add-on I showed in another video. If you want to check that out, I will link it to you right here. As you can see, it's also happening in here, topology wise, and here as well. So we have it on both. Also, if I activate the wireframe, you can see the difference that here it's quite high dense poly wise. Here it's a bit more low poly, but obviously the quality is also way lower than on the other two. Next step we can do now as well is to generate a 3D model from a text prompt. Here they also give a nice guide what we need. So first we need to prompt, for example, an owl, or you know, the subject itself, then the features that it should have, and then what kind of style we need. We can also choose here the texture style in the end, what we would like to have. But for example, we can then choose here, let's prompt a dog, why not? Maybe blue, let's say brown eyes, bright smile. And let's say it should be in cartoony mode, so more Pixar style, for example. Maybe we can even put that in here, Pixar style. And what we can do then is simply hit here, generate now. Make sure as well that you choose here the 2.5 as always, and then we can just generate it. And as you can see, it's giving us 4 different model generations. So let's see what it comes up with in the end. All right, and we are back. And as you can see, Hunyuan is giving us 4 different options that we can choose. And for example, I like this one here a lot. I think it was quite successful. So we'll choose this one here. And then as you can see, it's instantly loading it into the kind of viewport that we have. And then we can download it as well if we want to. And as you can see here, we have the dog. And I think for the fact that it's only generated from text, this is one of the most successful results I have seen so far in the 3D AI generation space. So I think this is quite cool. Of course, the texture on the eyes is not working that well, I think. But apart from that, I think it's a really solid model already. And of course, you can then also download it here if you want. One more thing I wanted to show you is how you can generate separate parts for one 3D model. And I did that with the help of ChatGPT and Hunyuan 3D. So what you can do is that you first go to ChatGPT and then prompt here, over here. I did that already. I can show you this in a second. So what I did is then I took my image that I prompted before in Midjourney. I uploaded this over here, that I first go to create image, and then I will choose here to upload a file, and from computer, then I choose the image, and what I then typed in is a with separate parts sheet of the 3D model shown in the uploaded image and no duplicates, so that it only generates the pieces that it sees on the image. And what we get is then this kind of result. And what I did then is actually take it to Photoshop, extending it a bit with generative fill so that we don't have these edges here anymore. Then I also went ahead and removed the shoes, for example, because we have them here as well as a single object. And what you can do then is that you then export it out of Photoshop, for example, and then just uploaded it here as a single image. And I did that, and as you can see, here's the result. When I go here to the PBR mode, you can actually see it's generating then all of those models kind of separated, which is pretty cool. Then we can also go ahead and download. Then we can delete the cube here, go to File, Import, GLB in this case, again, go to Downloads, then choose the latest one that we have here. And as you can see, we have then here all the separated meshes, but as you can see, there is still one piece. So how can we actually extract them? So what we can do is that we go to the vertice mode again. Then first of all, we need to still merge the vertices. That is unfortunately still a thing in Hunyuan 3D 2.5, so it's not fixed unfortunately, so we have to fix that ourselves, but this is no problem. We could go here, merge by distance, and then we will choose something like 2, 1. Then we press enter. Then all vertices, small vertices, should be hopefully merged. Let's see about this. Let's go maybe also to the texturing mode. Okay, this was maybe a bit too much, so let's go back. Let's re-import it again, then go to the texturing mode again, go to merge vertices by distance, and then maybe let's choose something like 1, 1. Okay, and then as you can see, you have to be a bit careful that it's not losing too much detail when we merge those vertices, but this is working much better. And what you can do then is that we go back to our edit mode, then go to mesh, and then we can go here to separate and then by loose parts. And then as you can see, Blender is separating all those parts for us. And what you can see then that we can move them if we want to a different place, and we can select them separately. And now you have a lot of models separately that you can then choose to build a 3D character of your own, because you can do this method, of course, and use it in a lot of ways, however you want to do that. And then, of course, you can shift it around and then build like this, for example, then your character. By the way, you see that the pivot is shifting to a different location. It's not where it's supposed to be. It should be in the middle. So what you can also do is go to Object, Set Origin, and then Origin to Geometry, and then it's in the middle, and we can shift it around however we want to have it. Next thing I wanted to show you is how you can animate your character. So if we go back to our soldier example, let's say we have this one here created, and we would like to have a basic rig now around it, or like at least that it's skinned, and then that we can animate it. So what you can do then is that you go in here, go to automatic bone binding, and then it starts the bone rigging and recognizes the model. For this, it's a requirement that it's in a T-pose, like shown over here. So it's pretty important that when you choose an image or prompt it, that you choose it in a T-pose for your example. And as you can see, it's then going ahead with the bone rigging. All right, great. And once it's done with the process, as you can see, we have now those options over here saying standing, stride, fall, and having all those options. We can also view the skeleton that it kind of rigged on our character, and as you can see, it's working great for this one. And what we can do then is, for example, say our character should jump, then it's generating the animation for it. This will also take a little bit. All right, great. And as you can see, this is then our kind of jumping character animation that we have over here, which is cool. So if we would like to download this animation, what you can do then is as well that we go in here and just download the animation over here when we go then to download. One more powerful way that I just found out that they have it as well. As you can see here in the laboratory, they have all those different ones. So as you can see, here's the 3D animation, which I just showed you, but we also have like this option of 3D texture generation. And this is also really interesting. So what we can do is we can upload a model that we just generated or that you made yourself. I have to say I didn't try it yet if it's working with an existing model, but it could be. But otherwise what we can do is that we then upload our model over here. So maybe let's just choose maybe this one here, we just chose. And in this case it's a robot I prompted, so I will also show you this quickly. This one here I also generated with Hunyuan 3D 2.5. I will also show this in a second to you with another texturing approach that we can use. But anyways, to have this one then also textured, we can say here that we want to use the original UVs from the model. Just make sure that it has then only one material attached and it has only one UV map. But for some reason it's not working here, so we can also use different UVs. And then for example we can say here that we want to have it in a different style. So we want to have the text, for example we can choose here reference image kind of to support it, or otherwise we can say here text generation. So let's say maybe say rusty robot and I don't know, blue or red stripes, maybe something like this. And then we can say also here that we want to generate the PBR map, and then we can say generate now, and then it will take the existing model that we have and then generate the texture of it, and this will take around 70 seconds to do that. Okay, and this is our result, and I think it worked pretty well, to be honest. So as you can see, we have those red stripes now. For the rusty look, it might be not added that much, and maybe here as well it added some rust details, but I think this is a huge progress that we can now retexture existing 3D models that we would like to have. At least on their website, which is cool. So I think this is nice. As you can see, with comparison to this one, we now have this kind of different look. Obviously this is still looking better in this case. I also prompted it in here. So this was the original texture creation process that we had for this one. In case, as you can see with the reference images that I will blend over here on the left, as you can see, it's not exactly the same. So I will also show you a way now how to make that more precise, because we can actually use ComfyUI for that, which is pretty cool. So what we can do is first to launch ComfyUI in this one. And here we can then use the workflow I showed in my last video, which I will also link here, where I explain you in detail how to install the workflow, so in case you're interested. And as you can see, I took here the base image that I used for it. Then I created here a Hunyuan 3 load mesh, which you can do with double click, and then simply load mesh, the load mesh in here. Then you can copy over the path from where it's located, your model that you just downloaded from the website, like over here. Then you can simply plug it in here into the Hunyuan 3D render multi-view. You don't even need, in this case, the Hunyuan 3D mesh UV wrap, because this model will already have UVs, which is great. And what it will do then is as well to read then all the angles as well. It will then generate the texture from all angles, and we get this really nice result over here, which we see, which is working way better than the original generation, because this one is fitting way closer to the reference image that we just input over here. So this will be way more precise. As mentioned, check out my last video about it if in case you're interested to install it. I just wanted to show you an additional way how you can use the Hunyuan 3D 2.5 models already in ComfyUI, in case you're interested. And now one last and final thing I still wanted to share with you is actually how we can use the sketch feature, which I think is also quite cool for playing around. So as you can see over here, we have the SketchUp 3D. We can simply click on this one. Then we can go here to upload pictures, and then we can upload our sketch. So in this case, I prompted a sketch in Midjourney, which I still need to download, obviously, as it seems like. So as you can see, I said here sketch of a woman, black and white and cartoon. And then, for example, I like this one here a lot, so we can just go to and download this one. Then we can go back to our Hunyuan 3D page, go here to upload pictures and then choose this one, for example. Okay, here it's not recognizing the image, unfortunately, as a sketch, so let's choose a different one. Maybe this one here, go to save image. Then we will go again and upload this one here. Maybe this one works better, who knows. Okay, great, and this is finally working. And then what we can also choose is to copy the text over here and choose this one as well then for the text we have here down below. So I will just say sketch of a woman, black and white cartoon, and then to generate now. And what I will do then is again to create the geometry and the texture. Okay, great, and this is our result, and I think it did also a very nice job with it, you know. Like just from a sketch, I think this is very, very impressive. So this is also quite a cool feature to play around with. And looks really promising. So if you have great drawing skills, for example, you can of course also use your own sketches if you want. And then you can as well, of course, also download it here straight from it, or generate a texture like I showed you before from it, that you then have colors with it. So there are plenty of options to choose from. And that was it for now. I hope I gave you a brief summary about Hunyuan 3D 2.5. In case you like this video, please make sure to subscribe to this channel and to join my free newsletter Future Frames, where I will keep you posted about the latest updates like this one, for example, as well. And that you don't miss out on any news in the 3D AR world or any new workflows that will come for ComfyUI in relation to 3D and AI generation. Having said that, see you in the next video.